when green is all there is to be. It can make you wonder, but why wonder? Why wonder? I'm green, it'll do fine. It's beautiful, and I think it's what I wanna be.
So I'm going to start with talking about Craig Armstrong's music for this movie by looking at Joe Harnell's music from the TV show. Unlike an Iron Man, I think it plays a much bigger role in the actual music. There's two instances. I think one instance of the rhythm. That 4-note rhythm becomes a new Lonely Man theme for the movie, which is played in the same kind of instances. It's Bruce feeling alone. And he feels alone. There is also a melodic component that I think plays into a certain background figure that may or may not be related to this main kind of curse theme. And this theme gets on everybody. As soon as they touch it, the stink gets on them, especially Betty. You'll hear her theme get replaced with a version of the cursed theme as soon as she gets saddled up with Bruce looking for a couple bucks for the bus. So let's get started with Craig Armstrong's restatement of that TV show theme in the movie. So if we were to translate that 4-note rhythm into this movie, I consider the spiritual successor of it to be what I'm going to call Lonely Bruce, just to show the connection, but differentiated as a separate theme from the TV show. In that restatement of it, it's really hard not to see it as connected to that original Lonely Man theme, because like the flutes play it and then it's echoed in the strings and the violins, just like the piano parts in the original. So now that we've discussed that rhythm, if we look at the note content, the pitch content of that C, D, E flat, C up to an F eventually, and then it ends kind of on a G with an A flat chord. Now if we take that, we look at this figure that I'm just going to call thing 1, because originally there was also a thing 2, but I changed my mind. We can connect the C to D, E flat. It eventually makes it up to that F, and then it ends on an A flat G. And it's kind of funny, I didn't write it down or anything because it's kind of, I mean, the horse is already dead. And it's also pretty simple. The most prominent sound in that recording is probably actually which is a E flat C, D C, E flat C, which is E flat D, E flat. I mean, it's there. And from there, instead of taking directly from that original Lonely Man theme, we have what I'm now calling the curse. This theme is actually, you could look at it very easily as being taken from thing 1. We can look at that trajectory from the all that fussing with C's and E flats going to that A flat G. If we were to look at the curse, it's all of that in that first measure. In the second one, it kind of then does it a little higher. The last of these general concept themes that I wanted to talk about before we burn through all the specific character themes is the concept of the chase. I kind of also had a rough time figuring out where this fit into the themes concept-wise, because it's everywhere, and there seems to be a lot of chasing in this movie. I would say it's like 80% chasing. This first version has a syncopation to it. I call it fast chase because the action in the movie that's going on is faster, not because the actual music itself is fast. It may even be slower than the slow chase version. The first one is during active chasing. It's essentially a descending line. The second version is when they're not actively chasing. It feels more like the consequences of the chase. So now that we got all the concept stuff out of the way, let's dig into the characters. The first one is, of course, going to be the Hulk. This is what I would say is the theme of Bruce or Hulk from this movie, even though we've already seen Lonely Bruce and The Curse, which are very much Bruce themes. Now, those big leaps in the glissandi are a pretty big deal in Hulk's theme later on, but also those 3 chords at the end get expanded as his arc progresses. It adds a 6th chord after the 1, between the 1 and the 4. As we're going to talk about at the end of this video, it's kind of an Avengers theme. It's kind of a Marvel trope, and you could look at it as a hint at the Avengers. This is maybe Hulk being heroic, let's say. The next theme we're going to look at is Betty's, and it seems to me that this just looks like it has the shape of the Curse. It's that sort of up-down figure repeated a step higher, but this is definitely her theme now, and it will be completely consumed later by the Curse theme. Ross's theme plays a couple times in instances that have nothing to do with him, but then afterwards it seems to play, and I'm wondering if that's director fingers, touching stuff, moving stuff around. That theme is a C minor chord to an E minor chord. I think probably any 2 minor chords with a major third apart. With that 2-chord theme, which is pretty distinctive on its own, there seems to be an ascending line. It could be an inverted chase. The next character is Blonsky, and maybe you can see this if you can read music already. I did not see this until I wrote the music out and put both of these phrases together. This is totally the Curse theme. It's the overall trajectory of it anyway. I really obsessed over that tritone for a while as being the main aspect of his theme. But no, he's cursed. Those are the individual character and concept themes that I'm going to bring up in this video. Next, we're going to start cramming them together and see what happens. If we throw that Curse theme onto Betty, we find that her theme is completely replaced by the Curse. Instead of the end of the first phrase being repeated higher, this actually shows it repeating lower. And just in case there was any doubt left in my mind that this music was at least partially derived from the TV show theme song, we get that piano instrumentation and it ends with just bold face, which is pretty overtly borrowed right from the TV show theme. And now that we've heard the themes, let's kind of familiarize ourselves with them by mixing them and mashing them together here. This first one starts with the Hulk heroic chords, and it ends with the Bettis Interruptus theme while Betty's trying to pull an Arthur Dent. There's definitely some Thing 1 in the background there, and also over Thing 1 we can hear some Lonely Man here. And this next kind of supercharged version of the Hulk theme I like because it incorporates, well, a lot of big glissandi in strings, which is always candy, but it also seems to use that Thing 1 theme to kind of direct its melody. Not sure how well I captured that cluster at the end, but I think I approximated it. The next couple themes are going to be Hulk and Ross. The first one's pretty cut and dry. The second one's got a lot of stuff going on. There's a little bit of either Thing 1 or the 4-note rhythm from the Lonely Man theme at the end there. The next version of Hulk versus Ross, we're going to see Hulk go into Ross that plays the chase theme over it and ends in the curse. The interesting thing about this next clip is not that we're mixing the different themes together, but we're playing the Lonely Man theme over Hulk being heroic. It seems like it's some kind of reconciliation between Bruce and Hulk. So hopefully that's enough showing and mashing together to kind of make these themes a little bit more memorable. Now to look into MCU connectivity. This clip is obviously not intentional, and it just stands out to my ear when I hear it, so I had to put it in here. And that's all fun and games, but I think the main event for this part of the video is going to be that, I was going to say mid-credit scene, but I guess it's a pre-credit scene, which is a fancy way of saying the last scene of the movie. We're going to get some Tony Stark showing up and talking to Ross to try and connect the films together. When that plays, now this movie came out like a couple months after Iron Man 1, so I don't expect that Ramin Djawadi and Craig Armstrong coordinated in any way, shape, or form, but it is kind of interesting the music played. The first theme kind of is reminiscent of Tony's Avengers theme by Silvestri that we're going to hear later. And also it brings back some of the basic fragment of Iron Man 1, which is obviously a coincidence because it's just a minor third and a major second. But it works. It does work, so it counts. first part of it definitely seems like something out of the Avengers from what I remember. That second part, though, that is clearly the Iron Man theme from the first movie. I don't think it was done on purpose. But yeah, it's there. I'll take it. Another takeaway that starts to show its face here is there's certain chord progressions that recur. There's a minor 1 to a major 6 and a minor 1 to a major 4. They happen frequently together, so I think that's a pattern by definition. Without knowing how much shared language musically I have with any given viewer, I got to throw in a little bit of something here. There's a way of talking about chord relationships that works in any key. You call it by a number. So just think of, if you know what a scale is, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in a diatonic scale in many modes. If you built a chord on each of those numbers, it would be the 1 chord, the 2 chord, the 3 chord. It's a pretty simple idea, but it takes some getting used to maybe at first. If we look in Marvel, we'll see a lot of minor 1 to a major 6 chord and a minor 1 to a major 4 chord. I thought of 2 off the top of my head, and a few seconds later a third one. And then I just went out and had a cigarette and thought of a fourth one of themes that we'll see in the future that all follow those chord relationships. My head's getting stuck in phase 2, so I think that means that I've said about all I need to say about the Hulk at this point. So thanks for watching. Enjoy your day.